If you want to be able to buy the most expensive players and open the best packs in FC24, go to u7buy.com to buy your EA FC24 coins. It's cheaper than buying FC points and just as reliable. With their already amazing prices, you can get an extra 6% using promo code Inception at checkout. It's been a while since we made a video like this. We gotta make more of them because I know that people really like these sort of videos, to be honest. We're gonna be taking a look at some of the upgrades that some of these cards have received. A lot of them, excuse me, were from Argentina, Spain, France, and I think a few Canadian players as well, right? So we're gonna be taking a look at them. If I do miss out on some of the cards, I do apologize, right? But there have been some improvements in certain areas that are definitely really nice. Because I have a picture of the ones that were released for the Euros, so I'm just gonna pull up that picture as well, just to check out some of the upgrades that they did release for these cards, right? So there's cards like these ones that were not trending, right? Because they've received like overall upgrades or whatever it's been, right? So there's a card like Nico Williams. So we'll be taking a look at each of the individual cards, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, we've gotten to a point in this game where cards are kind of very easy to read when it comes to like in-game capabilities, right? Some players, they perform a little bit better than you think for sure, but because of the specific playstyles that exist, I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference, right? So with Nico, Tiki-Taka Wits Pass, Technical and Trivella, right? So he's been upgraded to a 97. Playstyles-wise, this card does not have a Trickster Plus or a Press Proven. So this is one of those types of situations where you would have to experiment with his dribbling in game. Do I expect it to be like super responsive? Maybe not. Because of the fact he's a 5'11 player, average and lean. Because guys, 99 dribbling stats, I'm telling you, like a lot of the times, if you do not have those playstyles, their left stick responsiveness is not as crazy, right? So he would definitely be a very interesting one. If you guys want to see reviews for these guys once they're like fully maxed out, be sure to let me know, because we could definitely do that if the opportunity like presents itself, right? Like if it kind of makes sense, right? But yeah, none of that's on the card. He also has a medium work rate, so very curious to see how that kind of performs in game as well. Like that could be a little bit different too, but yeah, he is one of those upgrades, right? Danny Olmo, I believe, was the card that was oh, he's on the market? I thought he was a gameplay objective. I guess I'm wrong. This card's 5-star, 5-star now. I think initially when he first came out, he was 4-star, 4-star, but because Spain have progressed, he did get the improvements that were very necessary for the card. I've actually faced this card sometimes, and he's actually not bad, because when your left stick dribbling is not that responsive, it's actually very ideal to use these sort of cards in the side positions, because they'll still cook in those areas, right? And that's more so for people that, you know, want to look at the left stick responsiveness more in like a higher regard, right? Because a lot of people honestly don't really care as much as I do, and they'll still rock with these cards specifically in that cam position and still cook with him, right? Like I've faced him a few times and he actually does a pretty solid job, right? All the overall improvements in the card, definitely very nice. He is a 5-star, 5-star player. I'm gonna be real with you guys, man, because he has like good stamina and stuff. I actually feel like this card would be absolutely brilliant in the right attacking mid position specifically. I think that specific spot would be crazy for Danny Olmo. Like if I'm playing a 4-2-3-1, because I'm telling you guys, a lot of times you play with those narrow formations, when you put an actual cam in the right attacking mid or left attacking mid position, they're amazing there, right? It's a very, very strange thing. Like I don't know if you guys ever tried to, well, you can use Rivaldo's new card anywhere. That card's amazing, right? But that's like a really good example. So I still feel like this card would be incredible. And honestly, even though he lacks in those playstyle pluses, the dribbling keyword could still be decent, right? It's just one of those things you gotta obviously experiment with in game, right? Pedro is the next card that obviously got an upgrade as well. He's gone down in value. Honestly, a lot of the times, guys, like there's some cards that are so cheap that it's honestly unbelievable because they're so good in game. And it depends on like the hype during certain time periods. Because like, I'll give you guys an example, right? Like this Declan Rice card is 105k, dirt's cheap for how he performs in game, right? But a lot of times when players go down in the market, it's because when people generally try out these cards, they don't perform as well as they think that they could, right? Because people are really looking into the full meta now, which is why the content for the last like week and a half, 2 weeks have been really poor, because it's really based off of getting transfer market cards, right? Not like actually releasing SBCs that are interesting. Like they maybe released like 3 cards that were like interesting, but the rest of them should have just been released on the transfer market, right? But with Pedri, good play styles. This card, definitely, like, for the meta of this game, for sure, is an attacking center mid. You know, with the shadow chemistry style, you boost the pace, you boost the defense, but it's a card that you play in a 4-3-2-1, right center mid, left center mid position. He does have a finesse shot, which can be helpful in certain situations, but honestly, finesse shot plus is usually the main go-to. But the passing on the card must be unbelievable, to be fair. I think the passing could be really nice, but remember that in the midfield position, when it comes to balance, especially if you're using cards in a certain way, if you don't have defensive playstyles, you will lack in that area on the pitch, right? Intercept especially is a really, really huge playstyle to generally work with, right? Jesus Navas has received one too. Jesus Navas as a right back could be really cool, to be fair. I think he's like really small though. He's 5'8". He's not that poorly formatted, to be fair. Like, he lacks in the strength department, so I mean, people might still give him an anchor. But I still feel like this card would be really cool in different ways, right? So first of all, Trickster Plus, really big playstyle because it actually might make him responsive in game. So if you're using some sort of formation where he is your overlapping right back, he could be really good in that role because he has whipped pass plus, he has technical plus, and he has the rapid plus. In the right back position specifically, that's all incredible to work with. But even if you're playing like some sort of 3-back formation, he could be really nice in that right mid area as well. If you wanted to increase his finishing on the card, you could, by providing him with like a Deadeye or a finisher mainly because it gives him that bigger boost. I think it's like the biggest boost from the finishing, to be honest. Then obviously you can go down that route. I think there's also like the Gladiator, right? So the Gladiator could be something to look into as well, because there are some formations, right, where it's very, very helpful to have a card that can attack and defend. I think in this like new Air Japes 451 that I might be doing a review for at some point in the future, I think a card like this actually being able to start off in that right mid position could be ideal, because I saw him using Yasuo Kimmich in that area. So a card like this could absolutely cook in that area as well, right? So very good playstyles in a general sense. He actually has defensive ones too. So Jesus Navas definitely looking like an interesting card. Here's another card that, listen, man, this is just on a personal level, right? If you give me these physical type dudes and they don't have press proven or trickster plus, like, for me on a personal level, like, they're already kind of annoying to use, right? In his case, I think the usability of this card is significantly higher. You would definitely have to use him in like some sort of 2-striker formation, 4-4-2, 4-2-2, probably on the left hand side, right? Because he has the 5-star weak foot and he has the finesse shot plus with a power header and hopefully an aerial. Yeah, it doesn't have an aerial in the card too, but again, he's been going down in price because I don't think he's like super crazy meta because he lacks in those certain things, but the usability of the card must be significantly higher, right? On an engine that does not increase the pace, you still get a passing and dribbling boost, right? The card does have a 95 for jumping, 92 for heading accuracy, so you can still utilize those things. I have done many reviews in the Elite Division. Most of the reviews are in the Elite Division or FUT Champs. And I've never really seen this card on a person's team because we're at a point where people have like really, really meta teams. So these guys will drop in value a little bit, but it's also hype, right? Like, people overhype these cards. They probably went up and then they went down afterwards, right? So Casillas, who is a really cool goalkeeper, to be fair. The only thing that this card lacks, and if you guys watched the review, I said this exact same thing, is going to be in the heights department. For like longer distance strikes. So let's say someone's going for like a long distance finesse shot, or just a finesse shot in general where they like curl it around the goalkeeper because they have the finesse shot plus. That's where the issue is going to lie with the goalkeeper. But generally speaking, when it comes to actual reflexes in game, he's very solid, man. There's a lot of situations where, for instance, I was using Schmeichel's icon card and I switched to Casillas and I was liking Casillas way more, right? But again, the height can present to be a problem in certain situations. So you just have to be mindful of that as well, right? So that is it for the Spanish players. Some of the French players that have been improved is a card like Zinedine Zidane, who has been improved to a 98. So he's gone up in value a little bit. This card looks like he could be pretty interesting. They did give him a regular intercept, which is a massive deal, right? So with midfielders, you don't have to be like as mindful of the fact that they don't have excuse me, crazy dribbling. It is always nice to have, absolutely. I still like the press proven for the midfielders as much as I possibly can, but With a card like this, it is different because he is a taller player, right? So with a Shadow Chemistry style, increasing the pace and the defense while working with a regular intercept, makes him a really nice attacking oriented center mid as well. I'm still sick, so that's why I'm taking little breaks in between, right? But Shadow Chemistry style, finesse shot plus with a 5-star weak foot, 5-star capabilities in general while being high work rated is definitely nice. Do I still feel like he could potentially move like a truck? Sure, but there are a lot of play styles on the card that is compensating nicely for it. So I still feel like in that role, he would still play it really well because he has a lot of good regular play styles to work with too. Like he has a bunch of passing ones. He's got Trivella to work with just in case he's being played on that right center position. And then he's 5-star. So if he gets involved in the attacking areas in general, he could still be really cool to utilize. And if the dribbling still bothers you that much and you're using him more in an attacking sense, then you can still give him that dribbling boost. Do I think that'd be like super relevant? Probably not, right? Thierry Henry, I've actually faced this card sometimes. People have packed him, and pretty decent, right? So if a card does not have Press Proven Plus or Trickster Plus, right? On this card, he has a regular Press Proven, right? So by default, I was even noticing, like when I was playing against him, I was like, oh, the card actually looks like he can dribble in certain situations, which is great, right? Because this card, it's one of those ones where the Press Proven allows you to not have to give him a dribbling boost because that'll still be a base mechanic of his. But I think in a general sense, for a better balance, some people might still give him an engine just because it'll make his dribbling even more responsive because the card is already really fast. He's kind of built for that, right? With a rapid plus and a quick step. He has the technical power header, power shot, chip shot, a bunch of other play styles too that actually makes him really nice. So this is basically like your physical type attacker that can do really well in those sort of areas, right? Now, you can obviously go in a route where, you do give him some different stuff. For instance, giving him a Guardian could be okay, right? If you don't really care about the passing boost. You can also go in the route of, which chemistry style is it? It might be this one, yeah. So like a sniper, where you don't mess with the dribbling because Press Proven will compensate a little bit for it, and you just boost his physical to be as high as possible and just make him that really fast physical type attacker, right? So some pretty good improvements on this card. It does change his card from a 96 to a 97, so obviously some really cool stuff there. Patrick Vieira, I think I actually faced this card in one of the reviews. You may have seen it. I may have faced him. So this card has block plus, bruiser plus, first touch plus. So first touch plus is it's not useless on the card, but it's like you gave him an intercept plus, it'd be way bigger. But I'm pretty sure they still have the regular play style of it. They do because of that base card that he had initially, or the regular icon card. Press Proven for a big guy like this is actually very helpful. I love it for a Declan Rice. So with this card will definitely be really cool with an intercept. Actually has passing play styles too, which is very nice. Still looks like a good card, right? I think in his case, he's still a lengthy player on a shadow. And then you can also give him an engine chemistry style, make him feel a little bit more responsive on the ball, but still work with decent defensive stats, because honestly, the main thing that you work with for the most part is in the interceptions department. So on an engine, he could actually be pretty solid, right? You probably wouldn't shoot too much with the card. It would definitely be more for like the defensive aspect if you're playing a formation where you require that CDM type player on a medium high work rate. But yeah, Moani is another card too. I think Moani is a card you can pack, I believe. Yeah, he's a card you can pack. We got him as a player pick for one of the people in the SBC yesterday. But with Moani in game, I would say he might be like that Thierry Henry type player where it's just like you just have that really fast player. Oh, that actually has press proven. That's good. Okay. That's actually nice. It's interesting with this card because like you could give him an engine, right? To boost the dribbling to be as high as possible while giving him the passing boost, the key thing here. But I mean, you can also go on the route of giving him the am I stupid? Yeah, the Guardian. A little bit of defensive stats and giving him a dribbling boost. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that either, because technically speaking, he already has all of the important stuff in the pace and shooting department while also working with a physical. So giving him some defensive stats, I know it's weird to say, but like if you use any sort of pressure tactics, having a striker that has at least a little bit more defensive stats, it's helpful because you know that when you win the ball back in the defensive area of your opponent's side, like sometimes you just don't get the ball, right? So definitely looks like an interesting card. I could see some people actually like using him, to be honest. Yeah, that's some interesting stuff for sure. I think giving him a press proven makes a card like way more usable, and his dribbling actually might be really nice in game for, keyword, for a physical type attacker, right? Who has a 5-star weak foot, I believe. Yes. No 5-star because obviously didn't go the distance, but yeah. Chouameni, it's funny with this card because he doesn't have the base play style, or not the base, excuse me, the plus version of intercept, but I still feel like this card would be really good. First of all, he has relentless, so that's already a W because you can switch in between the CDM and center back position and utilize the second man press, which is way more helpful than actually manually defending this game, because manually defending this game is horrendous. But he has all the right base play styles as well: bruiser, intercept, jockey, long ball pass, incisive pass, and then all of the playstyle pluses are huge W's as well, right? So this card gets upgraded from a 95 to a 96, and on top of all that, you can give him a shadow chemistry style, make him a... I mean, you can make him a controlled player, but the anchor actually looks way more ideal because the pace is actually in a good area for a CDM player who also gets a physical boost. So yeah, as a center back or a CDM, mostly CDM, I would say, he looks pretty solid, right? But even in the center back position, definitely some cool improvements, right? This IE, another card that gets an upgrade from the 94 to a 95. More of a cheaper alternative to a center back position if you cannot afford the higher tier cards, but still looks pretty decent, right? I think they gave him all the right play styles, right? All the play style pluses are a W, right? Block plus, intercept plus, bruiser plus. But they also gave him stuff like long ball pass, which is a W, pinged pass, great stuff, anticipate, slide tackle, aerial as well, to work with that heading meta. You give him an anchor, you boost the pace. You have to kind of give him an anchor. Like normally I would give a shadow, but the jumping on the card, I want to work with the aerial because of that specific meta that people utilize a lot, right? So it's like a cheaper alternative if you cannot afford the more expensive players. You got a card like Trezeguet that also got improved as well. This is more for sentimental value for people that are using some sort of like past and present Juventus squad, something like that. Could he still do well in game? Absolutely. I think he's well formatted for that engine chemistry style as well to boost the pace, dribbling, and passing, while working with good base card stats for shooting and actual heading capabilities in the heading accuracy specifically, but not necessarily in the jumping department. Could you technically go in a different route to improve physical? You can, but might not necessarily be the best route. So yeah, that's for the Euros side of things. The other side of things is going to be for the Copa America players. So the Copa America players are the ones that are basically trending on the front page, right? So Alvarez obviously looks like a card that could be very interesting for the most part once he does get his upgrades. Oh, he got a 96 to a 97, right? So 96 to a 97. Alvarez is interesting because he has like press proven plus on this card, right? So it makes his dribbling significantly better, because every single time I tried out Alvarez this year, that was like the one thing that I felt like was missing on him, was more responsive dribbling, right? Because I think his body type is like an average and something. Oh, short and normal, right? So he has like a more physical body type, right? But with these improvements on a press proven plus, especially finesse shot plus with a 5-star weak foot, definitely some very good stuff there. Good passing play styles as well. He looks interesting, right? He's a high work rated player. So honestly, for me personally, I would probably use him in the side positions mainly, or as one of two strikers, depending on the sort of instructions that you have as one of your two strikers, right? That's obviously very important to look into as well, right? Enzo Fernandez, who was the Foot Champs improvement, did get his upgrades as well. This is a 98 rated card nowadays. Honestly, when I tried out this card, I thought he was really nice. I think Press Proven Plus has been added to the card. I think that's the new one. Maybe. Regardless, all four of them are a huge W to work with, but Press Proven Plus is really nice because it actually makes him way more competent as the attacking-oriented center mid on a Hunter chemistry style. So this is a fantastic upgrade for this card, especially as a Foot Champs upgrade, that you could still potentially give a shadow if you want to make him more, like, a little bit better defensively. Because honestly, if you get into those specific positions inside the 18-yard box, you do have to green time your strikes anyway. So having the higher shot power is more relevant for sure, right? And the regular play styles that he's working with definitely suggests, you know, using him as the attacking oriented midfielder. But it's cool, man, because the press proven plus on this card, it adds to it a lot, right? If that was a new one. I reviewed this card and I don't even remember, but I don't remember if he had a press proven plus when I did check him out. But it's cool to be able to do this because a card that can attack and defend for the specific formations and tactics that you use is definitely very cool, right? Lo Celso is also another card that got upgraded, right? So this is a 96 to a 97, I believe. He's gone down in value because I guess people don't really think he's like too meta. He looks decent though, to be fair, right? On a shadow chemistry style, he does get some very good improvements. He gets chip shot and stuff. Yeah, it's more like the usability side of things, I think, for this card, but good improvements on him. Playstyle pluses are all interesting except for maybe chip shot, but chip shots, if you actually get down, they come off nicely. The only reason why I think chip shots is like not as relevant is because of the trackback of defenders being so quick that it's like it's not something that I look into as much, right? Zenetti, I feel like Zenetti could be really good. I haven't tried him out myself, but you know who I did try out? It was these cards right here. And honestly, when I used him during this time period, I was very impressed with this card. I'm like, wow, this card is performing significantly better than I thought he would. So with this new version, he has very good playstyles, man. He's got whipped pass, intercept, relentless, jockey as well. And obviously very well formatted for that anchor chemistry style, boosting the pace, defense, and physical of the card, putting him in a very good meta area, in my opinion, right? So Zenetti is a very like cheap option for 192k for that general position that gets upgraded. So that's pretty nice there too. Tevez is a card that got upgraded too. We could have done this card's review because I actually did try him out and he was very, very nice. So apparently he is supposed to get a 99 stat somewhere. So I guess they gave it to the shooting department. Yeah. Why is this card nice? Obvious reasons. They gave him press proven plus, so it makes him significantly more usable in game. Because once you give him an engine, the pace is in a decent area, the passing's in a decent area, and you're boosting the dribbling while working with a press proven plus, right? He gets power shot plus, relentless, quick step. The card is formatted for the high work rated type player. So again, if you use this card, try to use him in like those side areas more than the actual striker position. But I've used him as an actual striker in some of the formation reviews that I was doing, and honestly, he was scoring a lot of goals for me, right? Like in the most recent 4-3-2-1, you'll actually see me using him as a striker, and he was able to cook for me, right? So not bad. Probably his most usable version ever, because Carlos Tevez every single year always had that dribbling that I personally just didn't really like that much, right? So some good improvements on that card there too. Mascherano, not a lot of people were going to do this SBC, to be fair. He was always going to get those upgrades, I believe, because, you know, Copa America, Argentina's road to the final wasn't as complicated, in my opinion, right? So those improvements that he was going to get on the shadow chemistry style with the pace and defensive boost makes him way more usable. Honestly, I use this card as a center back, so if you're building some sort of like sentimental squad, he's actually not bad, but for the meta of the game, it's always more ideal to have players that are taller, that have more physical capabilities in game, regardless of what anybody tells you. But usability wise, it was definitely there. I was actually very impressed with that card, right? Montiel as a right back gets a nice improvement as well. This was an SBC card during that time period who gets technical, whipped pass plus, and the relentless plus, who will most likely get the full upgrades, I would say. Potentially. Actually, wait, in the finals it could be difficult because I think today is Colombia, Uruguay, and both of those teams have been really good. So, but yeah, the improvements on this card have definitely been nice as well. Anchor chemistry style to boost the pace, defending, and physicality. He looks pretty interesting for the most part, right? Regular play styles. He's working with a couple of decent stuff as well. Good passing ones too, so not necessarily too bad there. Johnston is the card that got upgraded as a Canadian right back that actually, again, looks very solid. Relentless plus is a really big deal to work with in defensive players, in my opinion, again, because of the horrific manual defending. So some very good improvements on this card, right? He has a passing play style. He's got anticipate plus. He's got whipped pass, jockey, bruiser. Just looks like a solid card, right? And a very usable Canadian card, right? So if you're trying to fit any sort of Canadian players into your team, this looks like a fantastic card, to be honest with you. Very good improvements on him. Can't really go wrong with that. And then we have cards like Ishtaku, who also got upgraded from the SBC that was released. Ishtaku. The SBC that was released, that was honestly very cheap, right? 33k is dirt cheap for what this card can perform like in game. Good improvements on him. a nice little cheeky FC Porto card. I wish I liked this game. It would have been really nice to get this card because they released a lot of FC Porto cards this year that were actually pretty nice. And he looks well formatted, right? Like, I think for me personally, if I were to use this card, attacking center mid would probably be the most ideal. But because of press proven, there's actually potential to use him as an attacking player in the cam position too, usability wise, right? But I think for the meta of how it generally performs, I think anchor in the center mid position would be crazy. I think 33k was an incredible value for this card, regardless of sentimental value. I think for the meta of the game, he would actually perform really well in game if you can link him to specific cards too, right? So as far as I'm concerned, I think those were all of the improvements, because Sane and stuff, these guys, I don't even think they got an upgrade from when they were released, right? There's cards like Jonathan David as well, because he's a Canadian player who's obviously been improved, but I think this may have been like a past improvement as well. Usability of the card was increased, which is really cool. Does not have a trickster or press proven, but as a physical type attacker, I could still see him being pretty decent to work with because he has the 5-star weak foot. He's got quick step, chip shot, finesse shot. Finesse shot, obviously, with both of the feet being good, is great. He does not have an aerial to utilize the jumping and the heading accuracy, but he does have a power header. So if you do get into a situation to cross the ball, he could be pretty solid in those areas too. I think Davies also is here too as an upgrade, but I don't know if he actually got any upgrades afterwards. I don't think so, but Davies is actually really nice. I think meta-wise, he looks fantastic, to be honest. Because as you guys know, that flashback card was actually very solid, very expensive, but it was a meta card to use, right? But yeah, some really good improvements for a lot of these cards. This promo in general, when it comes to the daily content, has been horrific. It has been a promo more for packing cards and then using them in game like that. But I think generally speaking, people are really disliking the content right now. I think generally speaking, the upgrades are definitely nice if you do have any of those sort of cards, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. I will catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.